What's up, Gentlemen's Club? This is your OG commish coming straight at you, Mikey D. Doing a little Week 12 recap. And I gotta say, I'm gonna do a recap a little different. We're gonna probably glance over some of the games a little bit and get to the meat and potatoes of what's happening in our league. But first and foremost, the undefeated team, Justin Gunn, goes down finally. He's taken down by yours truly. Feels great to take him down. I just would never imagine any team being undefeated in our league in particular. So it was great to see. Beat him 208.5 to 163.3. So great effort by Gunn. His team put up a really good amount of points, but just not enough. My team went off. I got pretty lucky on that. But I'll take the win. And I'm glad that Gunn is not undefeated. So we'll move on to... It looks like we got Stephen Hofstetter and Matthew Register. Matthew comes away with a dominant win, almost doubling the amount of points that Stephen Hofstetter has. 204.8 to 115.2. Great job, Reggie. Your dominant performance lended itself to potentially you maybe squeaking into the playoffs. So we'll jump into that here at the end. But great job, Reggie. Hofstetter, you are the Bumble this week. I sent out a midweek text or mid-game text-ish around maybe Jeremy getting it, but you surprised me, Hofstetter, in many ways. You end up being the Bumble this week, my man, and I hope you enjoy it. I think this is your second time receiving it, if I'm not mistaken. I thought Jeremy was going to get it, but he did not. He did not, so congratulations to you. You are the president this week of the Bumble group. Looking on to the next matchup, Cage comes through with purpose. A little too late. It comes through with purpose, 161.6 to Jason Lumen's 123.8. Great win for Cage. Moves you up to 3-9. Does not change your standings, my friend. You know where you stand. I'm not going to harp on that. I think I've done enough roasting of you for one too many weeks. Moving on to the next matchup, we got Jamaican Hookers, Omar versus Michael Thompson. Woo! Gave you a little scare there, Omar. DT was coming back strong. Mikey T, you got backed within 10 points exactly. Tough loss. You needed the win. Omar, congratulations on a wonderful win, 8-4. Moving on into the playoffs, you secured and clinched your way. So well done, my friend. Rough start to the season, but you've come back strong. Mikey T, you're fighting for not being in last place, and we'll get to that later. Next matchup, we got Jeremy Ellsbury, the person I thought was going to get the Bumble this week, versus Michael Wyckoff, 178.4. The win goes to Michael Wyckoff. Great effort there. Your team continues to be pretty consistent. You guys are scoring between 150 170 over the last few weeks, so good job, Mikey. Jeremy, 5-7, man. There's a lot of teams in that arena, so you still have a chance. We'll talk more about that, but if you got that win, it would have made a whole lot better for you. Last matchup, Jim Millardo versus Pop Secret. Kevin Moore, it's not your year, my man. Jim Millardo, 161.9 to Kevin's 124.6. Well done, Jim. You needed that win and you came through, so love it. Congratulations. But let's take a look here. This is, Gunn and I were kind of just talking back and forth. The playoff race is tight. It is not an easy one. Anybody can still make it. So Gunn, Omar, and myself, that's the top 3 spots right now. Gunn has definitely secured his way into the playoffs and a first round bye. Congratulations, Gunn, but you still got that one loss in that column courtesy of yours truly. Makes me feel great. Omar and myself, we got ourselves a little tie at 8-4. Omar has me by approximately about 50 points. So this week's matchup is going to be pivotal to see who gets the second spot for the bye week. Then we got Michael Wyckoff sitting pretty at 7-5. He should be mathematically in the playoffs along with Jim Millardo, just depending on where we're at. But Michael Wyckoff, you're 7-5. Mr. Chow, Jim Millardo, you're 6-6. And here's where it gets really, really on the bubble scary for a lot of your teams out there. Remember, only 6 playoff spots. We got tied at 5-7, leading the pack right now because of points for. We got the independent variable, Stephen Hofstetter, followed by Jason Lumen, who has a really nasty losing streak, by the way, six games, FYI. Followed by Matt Register, who was a long shot to make the playoffs early in the season. He had a really tough start, but it's coming back. And then rounding out the last 2 spots are Jeremy Ellsbury and Kevin Moore. So those are the teams that are 5-7. Jim, you're right on the bubble at 6-6. This week's loss could change a lot of different things. So looking at the matchups this upcoming week, here is where it gets dicey. I'm playing Stephen Hofstetter. If I win and Steven loses, chances are he may not make the playoffs. And that gives me a chance to get into the 2nd seed, which gives me a 1-week bye. We got Michael Thompson playing against Matty Reg. Matty Reg, you got to beat Mike Thompson. That's it. That's the end of the game. You got to beat him to get a chance into the playoffs, my man. You have a shot. Michael Wyckoff, you're playing Omar. If you win against Omar and I win against Steven, I should get 2nd seeds bye. You might move up into 3rd spot depending on your points for. So there's some implications between the battle between you and Omar this week. So must win for both of you guys. Then we got, oh my gosh, Jeremy versus Jason. Winner of that has a chance to make the playoffs. Loser will not. So that's a battle. Then we got Jim versus Gunn. Jim, you need a win just to make sure you secure a spot into the playoffs. You should, looking at your points for and where you're at record-wise, but anything can happen. And then we got Pop Secret versus Cage. Kevin Moore, you need the win against Cage. Hands down. Cage, you just need to lose at this point to give Kevin Moore a chance. But that's how the playoffs are rounding out. Those are the spots that are available. If we were to look at the playoff projections as it sits right now, you would have Justin Gunn with our 1st week bye, along with Omar with 1st week bye, and you have Wyckoff versus Jim, and you got myself versus Hoff. This can immediately change so many implications in this upcoming week's matchup. So we'll see what happens. Jim, still looking for those picks, man. You owe us 5 more because the difference between you and 1st place was 6 games. So we're looking for some picks here. Other than that, man, gosh, tons of crazy stuff. I hope you guys participate in the text message string this week. We have had a lot of lack of participation, say the least. But with this playoff implication happening, I hope we all jump in and start talking smack because it's up for grabs, especially all those 5-7 teams. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Cage, I think you might win that DS. I don't want to jump to too many conclusions because you're only behind, or I should say, Mikey T's only ahead of you by, I think, about 175 points for. So we'll see. Unless you have a god-awful game and he has a stellar, 220-point game, you're probably going to secure it. If you win and he loses and his opponent has a ton of points, he may still get the DS. So that's kind of still up for grabs depending on what happens. So, but right now, probability-wise, I'd say 80% to you, Cage. Sorry. Other than that, man, I hope you guys all have a wonderful week. Lots of craziness happening. I've never seen our league so tight in the playoff race before. 6 teams. Remember, 6 teams are making it. The rest go home and think about strategies for next year. Other than that, take care. Remember, get your pick'ems in. It's the league pick'ems. So you got to pick 6 teams, send them to Gunn. The tiebreaker is going to be the game between Omar and myself. send in those scores. Other than that, peace out. Hope you have a great week.